Guys, I remember last week I came on the platform and I said that there might actually be a military coup in South Africa in 2024. People came on this platform and said that, Thomas, you are talking nonsense. There is no way that something like a military coup can be possible in South Africa. We have a functioning democracy, you have a working constitution, you have reasonable people in South Africa. So there is no way something like a military coup can be possible in South Africa. And I said, guys, I'm telling you that this country, man, we might actually witness a military coup in 2024. President Ramaphosa is already having a lot of problems, and I think he's going to have more problems after the elections. And right now, President Ramaphosa is having credibility issues with the members of his own party. You know that after Ramaphosa won the Nasrec conference, a lot of the ANC members, man, were not happy about Ramaphosa. You know, there were allegations of brown paper bags, there were allegations of bribery, a lot of African National Congress members going around saying that the President Ramaphosa actually bought the conference. He is not the legitimate president of the African National Congress. That's why you've seen many people actually leave the African National Congress. They couldn't stand the President Ramaphosa. Some of these people, they actually tried to challenge Ramaphosa. You've seen people like Kalnias was challenging Ramaphosa. He challenged Ramaphosa to a point where ANC actually expelled him, and he went on to open his own spaza shop. That actually failed, but he took that spaza shop, and now he's the member of the African National or of the EFF. And again, you've seen someone like Ace Magashule. Ace Magashule came and said that Ramaphosa is only going to be the president for the next 5 years. But Ace Magashule couldn't be the Secretary General of the ANC for like, 3 years? And Ramaphosa made sure that Ace Magashule was kicked out of the African National Congress. So Ramaphosa is already having problems within his own organization. The organization is already split in half. There are people who want nothing to do with the president right now. You have Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma studying his own Stokvel, naming the Stokvel after the ANC military wing. I think that whole thing is deliberate. It is very deliberate. And I think Jacob Zuma, when he sits down and look at how things are, he knows that he's not going to win the presidency of the country. Jacob Zuma knows that he will never be the president of the country again. He knows that South Africans are not going to vote for a party that is called MK Party suddenly for Jacob Zuma to be the president of the country. He knows. But Jacob Zuma wants to cause a distraction. The only reason why Jacob Zuma started this whole Stokvel of his is because Jacob Zuma wants to start a distraction. Jacob Zuma only started this whole MK thing to give Ramaphosa hell and to make sure that Ramaphosa is having the worst time of his presidency. Ramaphosa is going to win the election, the conference again of the African National Congress. I presume Ramaphosa is going to take over the conference again of the African National Congress, and Ramaphosa is going to stand to be the president of the country for the second time. Jacob Zuma is not going to accept the election results. Jacob Zuma is not going to accept the election result. And Jacob Zuma knows that his support, his base is actually active. These people are simply waiting to be told what to do, and these people are there waiting to do whatever they want to do. You look at Jacob Zuma, and you look at some of the members around Jacob Zuma. You look at Mzwanele Manyi. Mzwanele Manyi is Jacob Zuma Foundation spokesperson. This person was in the African National Congress, left, went to the ATM, didn't stay long in the ATM, and now Mzwanele Manyi is the member of the EFF. Now the EFF sent him to parliament. This is Jacob Zuma's right-hand man, the spokesperson for Jacob Zuma Foundation. You have Kalnias, the man who literally sacrificed his own career within the African National Congress to advocate for Jacob Zuma. The man who sacrificed his career at African National Congress because he didn't want anything to do with President Ramaphosa. You have Kalnias, who is a right-hand man of Jacob Zuma, a sidekick of Jacob Zuma. This person started his own political party. He didn't even last 6 months with this new political party and now went to join the EFF. So there's a link between Jacob Zuma and the EFF, no matter what people can say. And there's a link between EFF and Jacob Zuma. So Jacob Zuma, man, is not going to accept the election results. I think that one is fair right now. You know that Jacob Zuma is going around telling people that Ramaphosa is the worst president ever. This person, man, stole the Nasrec conference. Jacob Zuma is saying all of sort of things about Ramaphosa because why? He's trying to chip away at the credibility of President Ramaphosa. So you have Jacob Zuma, you have Julius Malema, Julius Malema and the EFF last year, before the year ended, they started talking about these organizations that are working with the IEC, and the fact that these organizations are paid by the government. So according to the EFF, these organizations, the fact that they are being paid by the government, there is no way these people are going to deliver us credible elections, because these people are going to do whatever they have to do to protect their salaries. So you have Jacob Zuma and Malema. These people are sitting there. They are waiting to deny the elections in 2024 after the elections. They are waiting to deny the results of the elections after 2024. Julius Malema is already gearing up his people. He's already telling his people that, guys, you need to prepare yourself for anything. Anything might actually happen right now. You see, Ramaphosa is working with all of these guys from all sorts of organizations that have been paid by the government. These elections are going to be stolen. So can you just sit back and imagine what is going to happen if the EFF goes from 10% and now 7%? Do you think that Julius Malema is going to sit back and be like, oh, okay, it's fine, we were at 10%, now we are at 7%? No, there's going to be chaos. There's going to be chaos. There's going to be chaos. And Jacob Zuma and Julius Malema, they are going to be helped by some of the members within the African National Congress to get rid of Ramaphosa. So Ramaphosa is going to face a lot of problems after these elections or going into the elections. The reason why I say that whoever is going to govern this country is going to do it with the help of military coup is the fact that if Ramaphosa wins the presidency after the elections, and you have someone like Jacob Zuma and someone like Julius Malema telling their supporters all over the country that Ramaphosa is an illegitimate president, Ramaphosa is going to need the military to stay in power. He is going to need the military to stay in power. So what happens if the military actually feels opposite about Ramaphosa? What is actually going to happen if the military feels that President Ramaphosa is failing? President Ramaphosa is not a legitimate president of the African or of the country. What if Jacob Zuma somehow finally convinces the military that, guys, you cannot continue backing up this guy? This guy is not the legitimate president of the country. And you know the military is how the military is like. So when I say that we might actually witness a military coup in South Africa in 2024, I'm not saying that someone is going to come and overthrow Ramaphosa. I'm saying even Ramaphosa can sit in power with the help of military, and that is the military coup. Ramaphosa can sit by force and say that, man, I have won the elections. Because you can, like, guys, you can bet whatever that you can bet that EFF and the MK, they're not going to accept the elections. They are not going to accept the elections. So even if Ramaphosa loses the elections, he is going to say that he has won the elections. So what is going to happen if the president says that, man, I have won the elections, something wrong has happened? What is going to happen if Jacob Zuma and Malema says, man, this guy is not the legitimate president of the country? What do people think is going to happen? You know that the supporters of the EFF are active, and you know that the supporters of Jacob Zuma are active. If these people may tell their supporters that, guys, Ramaphosa stole the presidency, it's time for us to cause chaos, what do you think is going to happen in the country? I mean, like, these are some of the scenarios that I think about, and I hear that a lot of South Africans are not actually talking about some of these things of what actually might happen after the elections. These are the scenarios of what might actually happen after the elections. Guys, I'm talking all of these things because, you know, 2 days back, there was a video that was trending online. And this video was made by a former naval officer there at the South African National Defence Force. Man, you have this guy, I think his name is Mangolele. Mangolele says that the president must go, and he's summoning the president because he's saying that the President Ramaphosa has failed, and the President Ramaphosa, if he doesn't step down within the next 48 hours, the force is going to do something about it. South African National Defence Force came out and said that, man, this person does not speak on behalf of the force. This is what South African National Defence Force said. The South African National Defence Force distances itself from the comments made by Sylvester Mangolele on social media. Sylvester Mangolele was dismissed from the Defence Force in 2018 and does not speak on behalf of the South African National Defence Force. The SANDF condemns Sylvester Mangolele's utterance with the contempt it deserves. His comments are not reflective or nor represent the SANDF in any way, shape, or form. So right now, we have someone who was dismissed from the South African National Defence Force in 2018. And this person is going around saying that the President Ramaphosa must resign, or if the President Ramaphosa does not resign, they're going to overthrow him with a military coup. Thomas being Thomas, I went online to see the reaction of people. You know, like I always try to analyze how people see these things. What I've realized is that South Africans, men, are simply dismissing this person. They're simply dismissing his claim. They say that this person is crazy. They like there's no way. And the fact that the South African National Defence Force released a statement distancing themselves from these people. Now people are saying that this person is just a lunatic talking out of his ass. There's nothing like that. But when I look at these things and I'm like, damn, who is this person talking to? I don't want to go online and start dismissing this person and start laughing about this scenario. I'm looking at this scenario and I'm like, who is this person talking to? Because if you really think about it, there's no way that someone can wake up one day, just wake up to decide to make a video threatening the president, telling the president to step down. If the president does not step down, then you are going to initiate a military coup against him. So the question comes, who is this person talking to in the South African National Defence Force? Because according to my understanding, or according to my opinion on how I see it, there are few people that this person is talking to in the South African National Defence Force. Maybe overthrowing Ramaphosa with a military coup, it is not the consensus of the force, but there are talks within the force of actually overthrowing Ramaphosa with a military coup. Guys, there's no way anyone can simply wake up in the morning and say that I decide to make a video threatening Ramaphosa. If Ramaphosa does not step down, we are initiating a military coup against him. This person is a soldier. This person is a former naval officer. He's a soldier, this person. He knows people within the South African National Defence Force. He knows the generals. I'm sure he knows a lot of people within the force. So the question comes, who is this person talking to? Because clearly, there are talks within the South African National Defence Force about the military coup. It's either this coup is going to help Ramaphosa, or it's either this coup is going to help the people that want to overthrow Ramaphosa, the Jacob Zuma or Julius Malema and the likes. But there are talks of the military coup within the South African National Defence Force. How can South Africans actually simply dismiss this person and say that this person is crazy, this person is nonsensical, he's just smoking drugs? How can people simply dismiss someone who was a naval officer? Someone who has worked with the force for years, someone who has made connections, someone who has made relationships within the force. How can South Africa simply dismiss this person and say that this person is insane? There's no way. I mean, like, guys, can you imagine in the United States of America right now, if a former Navy SEAL makes a video saying that President Biden must step down, or if President Biden does not step down, the US military is going to do something about it. Do you think that the US government was simply going to allow this person to roam around the streets freely as if everything is still good? Do you think that was going to happen with the US military? This person will be behind bars. This person will be questioned to actually understand where these utterances come from. But South Africa right now, we are simply dismissing this person as if this person is crazy. It's unbelievable.
And you, incumbent President Ramaphosa, you have failed to uphold, defend, and respect that equality includes the equal and full enjoyment of all rights and freedoms as obligated in terms of Section 9(2) of the Constitution. And you understand it to be true very well that Section 237 of the Constitution imposes an obligation that all constitutional obligations must be performed diligently and without delay. So, let us not delay in doing what must be done in service and defense of the country and its people in accordance with this Constitution. You will understand it to be true that Section 38 of the Constitution imposes a duty on any person, including myself, as a citizen equally entitled to the privilege, rights, and responsibilities of citizenship, and subject to the duties of citizenship. I am a father to two beautiful children that I must father, and then your administration is making sure that this does not happen. I do not father my children. I do not effect change in my country and its people whom I serve and defend. And now time has come for you to come down and step down as president as a result of a serious violation of the Constitution, serious misconduct, and inability to perform the functions of office. You have failed, incumbent President Cyril Ramaphosa. Captain Zimasa Mabela, as officer commanding of South African Naval College, you shall ensure that on the second day of January, we constitute in terms of Section 34 of the Constitution and the law at Section 101 of the Defense Act. For you have pledged to serve and defend your country and its people in accordance with that particular Constitution and that particular law. There is nothing out of context that I'm asking you to fulfill. Remember that South African Naval College is public office, and that particular public office has a function and a mission to provide quality naval officers through dynamic training. And we shall do that by calling upon the incumbent Chief of the Navy and any other person who has made sure that you do not respect, you do not protect, you do not promote, or you do not fulfill the rights in the Bill of Rights. I ask this in the name of the Constitution and the law, which is our manual as soldiers in the South African National Defence Force, and then I do this in service and defence of my country and its people. Do the same thing that I am asking you to do. Let all people come and account. Let us not continue persistently declining to respect, protect, promote, and fulfill the rights in the Bill of Rights. That is an obligation imposed in terms of Section 7.2 of the Constitution when you understand that the Constitution is indeed your manual. I cannot be coming to KFC and then be asking them for a furniture shop, for a furniture in KFC. I will be going to KFC, look at the manual of KFC, and then ask for Streetwise 2 and pay the price of that particular item that I have bought. The same thing is what I am asking you to do. I'm coming to you in terms of Section 7.2 of the Constitution. All I'm asking is for you to fulfill the obligations imposed in terms of Section 7.2 of the Constitution for the sake of our children, our country, and its people whom we serve and defend. God has indeed blessed Africa. I trust I find you well. Papa, good day.
So guys, what would you do if you were the president of the country? If someone was speaking like this, what would be your first reaction if you were the president of the country? Because if I was the president of the country, man, I would be dragging this person. I would be dragging this person and actually try to understand where these utterances come from. There's no way someone can simply wake up in the morning and decide that they're gonna initiate a military coup against you. There's no way. So are South Africans dismissive? Because this is what South Africans are doing. Like, they are simply dismissive. I've seen the reactions of the people online. People are simply dismissing this person, saying, "Nah, this person is crazy, man. There's no way." But you can hear even when this person talks. You can hear when this person talks. He's the member of the force. You can hear the terminology, how he speaks. He is the member of the force. So clearly, there is something there. There is something there. So guys, do you still think that I'm crazy when I say that South Africa might actually see a military coup in 2024? Do you still think that I'm crazy when I said that there might actually be a military coup in South Africa in 2024? What do you think? People said I'm crazy, man. I started speaking about this military coup things a couple of weeks back because I could actually see what is happening. I could see these people moving. I could see their moves, man. I could be like, damn, man. Damn. Because you have to be honest, man. When you look at someone like Jacob Zuma, man, Jacob Zuma did not start MK. But the MK thing was only started to start problems within the country. The MK thing was only started to provide the stability within the country. Nothing else. Nothing else. And you also have someone like Ace Magashule here in the Free State, who also has his own political party, man. And this person has a lot of support. I live in the Free State. Ace Magashule actually has a lot of support. So you don't want Ace Magashule to jump on the bandwagon of Jacob Zuma, Julius Malema, and Ace Magashule telling his own people too that President Ramaphosa is not the legitimate president of the country. So we are headed for a disaster. South Africa is going to be a failed state Whoever is going to govern the country after 2024 elections is going to do it with the help of the military, and that officially means that South Africa is a failed state. Guys, I don't know, please tell me if you think that I'm simply blowing things out of proportion, or if you think that I'm talking nonsense about Julius Malema or about Jacob Zuma or about President Ramaphosa. These are simply my thoughts, guys. I don't know about you. Please tell me what you think on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the most important part is, guys, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.